and is anything happening? Let's just see. I need to check. Right, okay. So I've got 7 people watching, which is very exciting. So there's somebody out there. Welcome to the first session of CoderDojo Ham's autumn live stream CoderDojo. And it's very exciting. We've been preparing for this for a few weeks, and we hope to make this a regular session, either every 2 weeks or possibly every 4 weeks, depending on the interest and the pool of mentors who are happy to join in. So the form of the afternoon, as you've seen from the invitation, is in a minute I'm going to hand over to Richard to lead a session on Scratch, and then at 10 to 3 then we'll have Louis taking over to run a Python coding session, and then after that at about 20 to 4 then Yashvi will do HTML, and when she's finished we are going to experiment with our first show and tell online, which is going to be a bit different to being in the lovely facilities of Kingston University's courtyard room that many of you know and love from our real sessions there. But I'll pitch in between, and towards the end I'll just let you know what our plans are for the coming sessions, and let you know how you can share our virtual dojo with your friends and family who may not be in the Kingston area. So there aren't many plus points to be said for lockdown and working virtually, but I guess that one positive for the dojo is that we can reach out to invite people who aren't physically in our catchment area to join in online. So I'm going to hand over now to Richard to lead off on Scratch, and Ozzy, of course, who is assisting him and has been our technical guru in CoderDojo sessions at Kingston Uni. Richard and Ozzy, over to you.
Thanks, Peter. I'll see you later, Peter. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session. As Peter said, we're going to be running a Scratch activity today. Before we start, we just thought it would be useful to talk about how we can share our projects if we have any problems that we need to do any debugging. So very first thing we're going to do is Ozzy's going to create just a new program in Scratch. And then what we'll do is we'll add it into our Scratch Studio, which means we can easily find any projects that you want us to look at while we're live on the stream, and we can then easily fix them and debug them. So Ozzy, you're going to just make that a bit bigger so people can see. So Ozzy's got a brand new Scratch project there. And so first thing he's going to do is just going to give it a name. Test project, that's an exciting name, yeah. And then click the share button. And then he'll now be able to, you spelled project wrong, that's amazing, great. Then he'll be able to add that into our Scratch Studio. And our Scratch Studio, if you want to find it, we've set up a short link for that. So if you go to rpf.io/CDHS, CoderDojo Ham Studio, you'll find our Scratch Studio, which if you followed any of our sessions early in the year, you might remember, and there's some of the great projects that we created when we did the maze game. So once you've gone to that studio, you can then click on the Add Project button and add in your new one. So there you can see Ozzy's added in his test project already. So if you all do that right at the start, create a blank project, give it a name, add it into the studio, then if there are any problems later on, you can let us know in the chat. And we've got lots of mentors watching in the chat at the moment. They'll be able to then look at it and help, and we can even put your project up on screen so we can retrieve it from the studio. If you guys all want to start doing that now, we'll just talk a bit about what our project's going to be today. I quite like these things called really useful boxes, and I've got one here. This is a really useless box. It's the opposite of useful, really useless box. You can see it's just a box with a switch on it. And if I press the switch, a little arm comes out and turns the switch off. And that's all it does. It is really useless. There's a switch, you press it, something comes out and turns it off. That's quite a simple one. There's another one I've got here that's made using a micro bit. And let's turn that around so the cable's not in the way. If I flick the switch on there, little arm pops up, has a look around, and then turns it off. Oh, I'm getting stuck. That's not very good. See, the manual one's much better. These really useless boxes are quite fun. And so what we thought we'd do today was to make a really useless box or really useless animation in Scratch. And so I did one in the week here, and I've made a really useless bear animation that I'll just show you now. And Ozzy, when he saw this, he said he wanted to do one as well. So that's what we're going to try and do today. This is my really useless bear, and as you can see, there's a cave with a button on it. And if you click the button, the bear appears, comes out of the cave. He's going to wander down quite slowly. When he gets to the button, he's going to turn it off again, which hasn't worked. Oh, my project's broken. How annoying. Anyway, he should have turned the button off and then gone back into his cave. So let's see if we can make a better version of that today. I don't know why that's not working. He's broken my project, Oz.
Haven't been nice.
That should have been a bit closer to it. Maybe it's because it's in full screen. I wonder if it works in normal screen size. Let's try that.
Can change.
I think it's just because it's stretched a bit, maybe. Let's try it. There we go. See, well, it's on the little screen. Obviously, when it's full screen, it stretches it out. That's something I didn't realise. Anyway, let's get on with creating our version of this. So Ozzy's got his brand new blank project there. Go and click on inside. So with all these kind of things, when you've got a task you're trying to do, you've got a project you're trying to create, it's a good idea to sort of break things down into steps. So what do you think the first step is we should do here?
Get rid of our cat.
You don't want to use the cat. Okay, great, get rid of the cat, that's cool. So then you're going to have to add in a new sprite, right?
Yeah.
And what creature do you fancy having in your...
I think a skeleton.
Skeleton, great. So following along with this at home, then pick whatever character you like. I think one thing that's really useful is if it's a character that's got multiple costumes. So if you just look at the costumes for the skeleton, Ozzy, I think he's got several. If you remember in the bear animation, the bear had different costumes with his feet in different positions. So that makes it look like he's walking. So whatever sprite you pick, I'd suggest having several costumes there to do. All right, great. So we've got our character. It looks like he's in a very snowy place at the moment. Should we add a background?
Yeah.
What background do you fancy?
A haunted wood.
A haunted wood. Nice. Right. Okay, great. So obviously in our really useful box, the thing, whatever it is that's turning off the button, is hidden. And in my really useless bear, we had him coming out of a cave. Where's your skeleton going to hide in that then?
Behind the tree.
Behind the tree. Okay, so I think the skeleton's a bit bigger than the tree, but let's see if we can do that. So how can we have him hiding and disappearing? I mean, we could use a show and a hide block, I guess, but that's not quite as good. What can we do here, do you think?
We could have so you can take the background and turn it into a sprite, and then
take your background and turn it into a sprite. All right, nice.
And
how do
then
we do
have
that?
it. So if you go into your background,
yeah,
and click here.
Yeah.
You see this backpack?
All right.
Open up.
Remind me what the backpack is.
It's so you can store sprites and.
Yeah, okay. So can you try dragging that back in? Actually, let's just turn off the banner with the Scratch Studio thing on there so we can see all of our screen. There you go. Yeah, cool.
So then if you get your costume here, we've dragged the woods into the backpack.
Yeah.
And if you drag it out, and just place it. Oh, well, no. If you go onto the choose sprite,
Yeah.
click the paint,
Yeah.
you just come up with this empty sprite. If you drag that in there,
yeah,
you should now have the backdrop as a sprite.
Great. Okay. So you can just edit that like you would a normal sprite, then, right? Cool.
But you have to, because it probably won't spawn in line with the backdrop. So if you just have to kind of line it up.
I think it will be in line, won't it?
No.
No.
Delete this empty costume.
Okay.
And close the back.
Is that definitely in line then, is it, you think? Well, I guess you can, when you edit it, you'll be able to see later, right? Right, so you've got the eraser there.
Yep, I'm just pulling it up a lot because.
Okay.
Or not, I'll just make it go down. Okay. So you can just rub out. I'm just rubbing out this side so the skeleton can walk past the tree.
Oh, I see what I think you're doing here. Okay, I understand. This sounds good. I like this. There you go. That is lined up, isn't it? Nice. You can see it now.
So I'm just going to zoom in so I can.
You want to make it rather smaller, right? Let's get really close to it.
So I'm just going to rub out the bits of the tree.
So by having this as a sprite, we can then move our skeleton behind it, right? And it'll look like
he's just kind of disappeared.
Oh, that might look quite funky, actually.
There we go. So now we can go up. Do this.
All right. Okay, it's nice.
So I've got rid of most of it.
You can't tell that there's a sprite on top of the costume there.
Yeah. If you just place it there, it's almost that's right. Yeah, there we go.
So where's the skeleton right now? Is he behind? He's behind that bit of backdrop, right?
Yeah, so we see him, he's just here.
Okay, so what have we done with your sprites?
I don't know.
Where are they gone?
I lost the skeleton.
Okay, we need to add the skeleton in again, don't worry. We're just getting too quick happy there. Easy to do with Scratch, right?
So now he's
in front now, right?
Yeah, he's in front.
So if we want him to go behind the tree, we can add in a block to do that, right?
When green flag clicks.
Yeah.
Then the looks sprites, there's a go to layer. And if you set that to back layer, nothing will happen unless you put him behind the sprite. So that kind of looks like he's.
And that looks really spooky, right? The fact that he can appear
like a parallel dimension.
Parallel dimension, exactly right. Okay, cool. So how about next then? We put the skeleton where we want him to start off. What's his starting position going to be? So
if you maybe have just like a tiny bit of his arm showing.
Nice.
Like that.
Right. So let's fix that position in so that when we do the green flag, he'll always go to that position.
Then if you just put a go to back there and go to. Also say doing it on this sprite so you don't accidentally drag.
That's a really good idea, yeah.
So if you put the go to on both of them, now even if we drag it like that, it'll go back to looking.
Perfect. All right. So we've got our background, we've got our sprite. I think we just need the thing for him to press, like a button, or it doesn't have to be a button, it can be anything. You can do a button, okay.
Actually, maybe
it's nice if it's something that can change when he presses it, like the button can be a different color so you can tell it's pressed.
Toad that hops away.
I think let's something simple, something static anyway.
Okay, I'll just go for a button.
All right, buttons are easy. Because they already come with like a pressed and an unpressed costume, don't they?
I have a button. I'm just going to put it maybe down here. so we can have him kind of walking down.
Nice, nice, I like that. Yeah, you can put it a bit lower maybe. So, you can always position them later on. We move things around. And what costumes does that button have?
So the bottom has a pressed and unpressed.
Perfect, great. So why don't we start with that then? Let's animate that costume so that basically when it's clicked, it changes its state.
So there's the when sprite clicked button in the events section.
Yeah.
We'll do like that. If you click, so this will say when this sprite is clicked, do something. And what we want is it to change to its second costume.
Yeah.
So now.
Nice.
But then if we click the green flag, it's staying on this costume.
Cool.
So you should also put a when green flag clicked and then have it return to its original costume.
Perfect. That's great.
Yeah.
If anyone who's watching along has any problems or wants to make any suggestions or stuff, please type it into the YouTube chat and we can see those things here. So do shout out if you get stuck or if you've got any problems. Apparently the sound is cutting out occasionally. Really sorry about that. If you miss anything, just let us know and we'll try and right. What else does that? We need the skeleton to know when the button's been pressed, yeah? So let's use a broadcast message.
Yeah.
Broadcast is good for
so in the control, actually no, in the events, down at the bottom of the event section, there should be these when I receive broadcast. We need the broadcast, just a broadcast on its own.
Yeah.
Maybe let's change it to something like button press.
You've not got focus there.
I haven't got focus. No. Button press.
Suggestion from Helena here. He says she's going to use a vector backdrop because they're easier to animate. That's a really good suggestion, Helena. Nice one there. Like that. Great. So we've got our broadcast message. So now let's go back to our skeleton and get him to do something when he receives that message. So what is the skeleton going to do when he receives the message?
When he receives the message, he should maybe come out a bit.
So
maybe like go down.
Maybe you could come out and have a look. Just have a look at what's happening. Like see what's going on. He's pressed his button. Yeah, that might be good. So we could switch. You could come out and switch to that costume.
Or we could even take this head.
Yeah.
And have him go like that and then look side to side.
Nice, like that. Right, let's do that then. Sounds like a good idea.
So for that, we need to make 2 more costumes.
Okay. So
what I'm going to do is duplicate the standing still costume.
Yeah.
Then get rid of his head.
Ah!
Like that. Then if we go into one of these costumes with the head side on.
Yeah.
If you select it and click copy.
Yeah.
You can then go into the other costume. Click paste.
Yeah. And you can flip that around, right?
Yeah, and then move it there. And just duplicate this.
Right.
And
nice.
That. So
That's
now
cool. Excellent. Right. So if he's going to move out from behind the tree, we want to sort out his walking thing. Yeah. So which to
E.
Okay, cool.
E.
All right. Let's just. Why don't we put some code blocks in and just.
The only thing is, he's facing the wrong way.
Okay. Well, can you flip him?
Yes. If you just hold. Yeah. You can.
Nice.
Now the costumes need to go this way around. So it looks weird. Here we go.
Right, great. Let's.
Just we set him to this costume. When the green flag's clicked. It's better if
How about now? Can people hear us now? Now we're back on screen as well. Ah, great. Okay.
so we need to be on screen.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We're back, hopefully, with audio now. Hopefully, you've been able to see what we've been doing while you haven't been able to hear us.
I'll zoom in on what we've done.
Yeah. So basically, I'll just recap what we've done. We've created a custom block for walking, or as Aussie's called it, walking, and we've given it 2 different inputs so that we can control how the skeleton moves without having to put in those big blocks of code all the time. So we've got one input, which is the steps variable, which tells it how far to move, and also another one called bigger. If we say bigger, then the skeleton will grow as it walks. So it will look like it's walking towards the front of the screen. So if Aussie just clicks the button now, you can hopefully see what will happen. We've got in, do you want to just make the text a little bit smaller so we can see it? Yeah. So we're using our custom block in 2 places. First of all, we walk out, and we stop and the skeleton walks around. And then, do you see the skeleton's got slightly bigger now as he's walking down towards the button?
I might need to walk a bit longer.
A bit longer, yeah. Okay, let's try that. Stop, look around. Yeah, he's got a bit bigger now. Come towards us. So I think, like, we want him to be able to press the button. So let's think about how we position the skeleton.
I think you might have to, if he's from here, you might have to go down a bit.
Okay, let's try that. Yeah.
So you just do this, but with going down.
Right. Okay. So maybe we need to add that in for the bigger anyway. That when not only do we change his size, but we change his Y position. Yeah. Right.
So if you're trying to change his Y position, you'll need this change Y by. Make sure you get the change at the set, else you'll be a teleporting skeleton.
Yeah.
So if we set it to a negative number, so like -10.
Yeah.
It should. Let's see how it looks now. So we'll look around. I think he's walking down enough.
You know what I think?
I say maybe we put this.
I think the skeleton needs to be a bit smaller. Yeah, if we make him smaller, then he'll.
So 60.
Yeah, try and make him 60 smaller. Yeah.
How do we do it? A small skeleton.
Yeah, that's better, right?
Still needs to move down a bit more.
Yeah, sure.
I say, what happens if we put this? Just duplicate that. Put it in between.
Okay.
So
you move down with every step. Sure, let's try it.
Yeah. So all I'm doing now is duplicating them on 2 of the steps.
Okay, we'll see what that looks like. Let's try it.
So walk out.
No, I think he's getting too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we just change the size by maybe 5.
Yeah.
Maybe he has to not walk. Actually, let's just try this. Yeah, he's doing this here.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'd say make the skeleton a little bit smaller.
Put him to 50.
Okay.
Now we can click the button, walk out.
Yep. Nice.
So maybe go down a bit more.
I think we should also do is make the button a bit smaller, and you can get right up close to it, right?
No.
No, it's gone now.
Okay, there we go. Now I'll click it.
I'd have put the button lower. You wouldn't think it was go there.
Yeah, let's see where.
Okay. All right, that's good. That's a pretty nice. So now we just need when he's there for him to press the button.
Let's set him back to his standing up straight spot.
Okay.
So it looks like he's been frozen in time.
Right.
He kind of has.
Okay. See what that looks like.
So now you save it. Walk out from behind the tree. Come down. Like that.
And then how can we animate it so he presses the button?
To kind of have his hand sort of go,
He's saying, yeah, maybe he needs to look at it as well.
Yeah, so we already made that. Looking A2, is it?
Yeah.
No, wrong way. So we already made that looking in the right direction as well. You can even make another one where he's kind of looking down. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're making one more sprite.
Can we rotate that? Make it look
Yeah.
down. Ah, nice. That's great.
It's kind of looking like that.
Yeah. Nice. Ah, that's really
So
cool.
you've got now A4. Like all the roads. A2, A3, A4. So now,
Comes out.
come down, look either side, go there, look down.
And then
Just kind of
taps it with his arm, maybe. Kashi taps it.
So not sure how we'll do that. Well,
Another costume with his arm out, is it?
yeah.
Right.
So let's just, if you duplicate the costume you just made,
Yeah.
you can now, you should also be able to select his.
Does it need to be that sticky out? And you're shrinking his arm. Okay.
And there we go. And then he kind of like, or we just have it on the button.
I think it's have it on the button, yeah.
So it's kind of going down.
Yeah. Okay.
It's back. So now, click the button. Walk out. Sure, we haven't had put the arms right. Oops. I forgot to put the arms right in.
No, never mind.
So now if we maybe wait like half a second.
Okay.
Then we have that lot A5 now.
Right.
This is our map. I say we put a broadcast in here to tell the button you've just been pressed.
Why can't we just use if touching button?
Yes, we could.
Nice.
But we
right.
still have to broadcast to the button.
No, it's the button if touching.
Skeleton.
Yeah.
So now if you go into the button, we're going to make a forever if loop. So if you get your green flag, a forever loop, and an if loop, just like this. So now when the green flag clicks, this will forever be looking for whatever's inside the if loop. In this case, it's whether the button is touching the skeleton.
Yeah.
And if that is true, we can then have it switch into costume and press.
Right.
Skeletons, go to
So
them.
we've got to be careful now that we don't touch the button before we press it.
Yeah.
So the sprite doesn't get too close.
Let's have him out his hand out for a bit. So he's switched to his looking down costume. He can now put his arm back. So he's walking out to it. There we go.
Nice. That's perfect.
It's a button.
So one last thing then. Yeah.
And have him, or we just go into A2 like that. So now we'll click that, walk out. So I've just switched this sprite here to be his looking in the other direction.
Right.
So he's kind of, I just want to get back to my tree now.
Yeah. And then he's just going to walk the other way.
Yes.
All right.
So we need to kind of do basically exactly what we did in reverse.
Or he can just walk back. He doesn't need to pause in between, right?
Yeah, but he still needs to get smaller because
Yes. He doesn't need to get smaller.
he's
Yeah.
grown a
Okay.
big potion.
Yeah.
So you can use another walking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then have him walking maybe 7.
Yeah. We need to have him facing the other way, so that the steps, because we're using steps, go the opposite direction, right?
So what we'll do is we set. No, wait, that doesn't work.
If we just have him pointing in the opposite direction, then steps will make him work the other way, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But then he'll be walking back.
That's okay.
Yeah. So if you get this point in the direction, you flip it round to point in the direction -90.
No, that's that way, isn't it? I think it was right the first time. I think he's going to walk the wrong way now.
No.
Yeah. All right.
Remember, we switched the costumes round.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try it. I think he's going to walk the wrong way. I think he'll carry on walking off to the left-hand side of the screen. And you'll have to press the button.
This is direction to rotate. So if you click on the direction here at the bottom, this should pop up. That means he'll now not go. Oh no, we've lost him. Where's he gone?
Where's he gone?
You need to make back to 90
At the start.
So now we'll walk back out, look either side, come down, hit the button. Now all we need is to have him shrink and going up.
Right.
So I said we just duplicate this but with smaller.
Yeah, for sure.
So where we've got this bigger, if you just duplicate and put it under where you've got your small.
Well, let's keep that and just have it as a different bigger equals and make that if bigger equals no.
No, because we've got.
Okay, if bigger equals small then.
Yeah, so if we change it to bigger equals small, we'll have him do maybe change y by 5, so +5 and change.
Should be the positive value opposite to what we had him coming down.
No,
right?
because before we had him coming down from up here.
Okay,
So
that's a good point. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah.
So then if we just duplicate this again, we can just change it to bigger equals small, change y by +5 and size by -5, so we get smaller. Here we're just going to put small. Hopefully it works. So saving my project, click the button, skeleton will walk out, click either side, hit the button.
Nice.
It's become very small.
It's very small.
I say if we change the size by 2.5.
Okay.
-2. No,
That's the wrong one.
Yeah, so if we make sure I do this one this time, and I have 2.5.
Yeah.
Like that.
Cool.
So yeah, so I'll do that again in case you can see because we lost connection. So we'll click green flag, open in full screen. He walks out, you see the side, comes up to the button, clicks it, and heads back home.
Disappears magically behind his tree.
Now we've got our really useless skeleton.
Excellent. Cool. Right. So that's perfect timing as well, because that's 2:45. So first of all, apologies for losing the sound earlier on. I hope everyone can hear us now, and we're back. At the end, we're going to try and do show and tell. So if you've made your own version of a really useless thing, then please do add that into the studio, and then at show and tell time later on, we can bring you onto the stream as well, and you can talk and show us your amazing project. Obviously, you can keep working on them for now, or even better, join the next session, which is going to be some Python. But before we do that, I'm going to say goodbye and hand back over to Peter now.
We've got one here.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, Richard and Ozzy. Thank you very much. We're really sorry about the interruptions to the sound, and sometimes the video froze for a few minutes. I hope you were able to catch up. Richard, if they want to kind of, if they've got gaps in the code and they want to see what they missed, is there somewhere they can find this? Will you put something on the Scratch Studio?
Yeah, my project is in the studio right now. It's called Really Useless Thing.
Okay.
But I'll put the studio up again.
Thanks. Well done. It looked amazing. I love the way the skeleton got smaller when he went behind the tree and then magically disappeared. I thought it was fantastic.
It's spooky effect, right?
Yeah, well done. Anyway, it was fantastic. And some of you who haven't done a lot of Scratch before may have found it hard to keep up. This wasn't really designed as a session for complete beginners, but we are planning to arrange at least one session in the next few weeks for people who are starting Scratch without any previous experience. So write to us at our email address, which I've posted in the chat channel, and we will set that up. Richard, did you want to add something?
No,
You're putting your hand up.
No, I think I was fiddling with my mouse.
Okay. Anyway, now we're going to be joined by Louis to lead the session on Python. And Louis, very warm welcome to you. And also, we've got some assistance from some of Louis's fellow students at UCL in computer science, another Louis, and possibly a couple of other students as well. So post any problems you've got in the chat channel. So over to you, Louis. Thanks.
Oops, I was muted then. Looks like we had some problems with Louis' setup there. I think he's just going to try and reconnect and see if we can sort those out. Obviously, this is the first time we've done these live streams, so please do bear with us as we try and iron out some of the teething problems. I can see Louis join now. Let's just see if we can hear him. Louis? I don't think anyone can still hear you. I'm not sure if people hear me. So they can. Looks like people can hear me, Louis, but they can't
hear me now.
Oh yeah, definitely can hear you now.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that's weird. Just my other microphone wasn't working. Okay. Sorry. Right. Yeah. Sorry. Let's get started. So I'll share my screen, and hopefully that should be able to. Let's do that now. Cool. All right. So I've sent a. I think. No, I haven't sent a link in chat yet. So I'll do that. Actually, Pete, could you send this link in chat? Because I don't think I can do it straight from here. That'd be really useful. So yeah, so what we're going to do today is we're going to make like a program in Python that will let you it will basically print out jokes. So to get started, I don't know how many people have signed up to do the Python session. So let me know, because there's probably some people who are watching but not typing, who don't have accounts. But if anyone who does have an account and is on the chat and is doing Python, let me know. But yeah, so the idea is that you should have done a tiny bit of Python before. So but I don't assume too much knowledge here. So yeah. Okay, let's see if it's. It's going to give a few seconds just to make sure that people can hear me still. It's all working. Let's see. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is, so if you head on over to the link that got sent in the chat by CoderDojo Ham, you'll get to this page. So the first thing you need to do is head over to this website. So repl.it. And so the idea is you can hit. Actually, it's what looks like different for you. So I recommend looking at this GIF here. So the idea is you go to the website and then you hit create new, and then choose Python. And once you've chosen Python, you should just load up here, and it should say Python 3 point something, hopefully 3.8.2, but as long as it says 3 at the start, that's good. So I'm going to hit new, I'm going to hit Python, create REPL, and here we go. So we're in. Yeah. So by the way, I think there's quite a big chat delay on chat. So yeah, bear in mind that I'm seeing things. I'm seeing things in the past from your perspective. So yes, the first thing we do is going to sort of work through the starters. So we just kind of introduction, because I don't want to dive straight into what we're going to do, because I don't want to sort of leave anyone behind. So we're going to start off by going through this stuff, and then the actual sort of coding part is going to be down at the bottom here. So first thing to do is, as part of our program, we need to learn how to input. Oh, by the way, yes, Python 3.8.2 is the right one. Yes, the first thing to learn is how to input. So let's go. If we go to our REPL, we type name equals. So name is our variable that we're creating. We say name equals input, and then you can say enter your name. Now, input is this this function in Python that reads text that you type in the terminal in the console here. As long as you have Python 3. Just Python, just not Python 2. Okay, so people seem to be having issues with finding Python 3. It's just called Python. It's not. So there's on REPL there is Python. There's Python 2. Python defaults to being Python 3. Let me know if people are still having trouble with that. Otherwise, I will carry on. Yeah. So yeah, so here, what the input function does is it takes the text you type in and it returns it. And what that means is we can set our variable name to be whatever you type in. And what we pass in is parameter. So parameter is the thing that goes inside the brackets. The parameter is is the thing that gets printed out. So like the prompt, you can think of it as. And then let's say we want to say, so the idea is it will say, hello, enter your name, and then we'll say hello, and then what their name is. So if we type that all out, we see here we've got the text. We say print hello plus the variable, which is assigned here. If we run that, I can type Louis, and then it immediately responds with saying hello, Louis. Yep. So why don't you give that? I'll let you sort of spend about a minute to have a go with that. Just let you know once you got this code set up. So just type in the chat that you've got the program working, and it says hello and then your name when you run it. So I'll give you a few minutes to work on that. And let's see if anyone has any issues with that. And again, if you're a bit slow at typing, then you can take a look at this, and it's just fine if you want to copy and paste that. Just the important thing is you sort of understand what it's doing, and hopefully that you can see it working. So if you're a bit slow at typing, then it's all right for this stage. Just copy and paste this into here, then hit run. Okay. Yep, just waiting to make sure people caught up. Cool. Okay, some people are getting done now. Okay. Right. So the next thing we need to understand. So again, it's just some things we sort of like prerequisites. We just understand it before we move on to sort of the more advanced part of this. Is we need to understand how lists work. Okay. So when we store items in computers, we store them in what are called arrays. Oh, and there's people saying no audio. Is it still no audio? I'm going to assume that it's working because there is a bit of delay. So, okay. Right. Yeah. So whenever we saw one of sort of multiple items of data, we can store them in a list, and it's called an array in computer science. So here's an example. So I can copy and paste this into here, into our record. And so here, as you can see, we've got 3 items, and they're separated by commas. And we've got item A, item B, item C. What I can do is I can say print my array, and we'll see that it should just print out those 3 items. So the next thing is, how do we access a particular element of that array? Okay. Now, an element in an array is called so an item in an array is called an element. And so unlike us humans who start counting from 1, computers start counting from 0. And so that means we end up with, so the first item, instead of being 1, is item 0. And the second item is item 1. And the third is item 2. Okay. So if we actually want to access item 1, then we have to do it in square brackets like this. So for example, if we go back to our code, and let's say we want to print out item C, remember it starts 0, 1, and then 2. So item C, even though it's the third item, it's index 2. So if I say print my array 2 in square brackets, it should print out item C. Okay. Now again, if I move a bit too fast, all of this is still on the document. You can go back and read it. It's just so that we can sort of cover some of the basics of this. Yeah. So the next thing to learn, just to quickly go over, is for loops. Okay. So for loops let you loop over arrays. So what I can do is I can say for item, or let's just say let's call it I in array. And what I can do is I can say print I. And what's cool is what it would do is each iteration of the loop, which is, so each iteration means each time you go around the loop, it will set I to be each element of the array. So it will run so in total, this loop will run 3 times, and each time it will print out I will first be item A, then item B, then item C. So we should see that it should be equivalent to us saying print item A, then print item B, then print item C. It's just a much faster way of doing this. So actually, I'll get rid of this to not make it confusing. And yep. So here we see item A, item B, item C. Okay. So this lets us sort of loop over arrays to do useful stuff. Now, yeah, this is a good example. So let's just copy this code so I can just see how it works, right? So we've got three greetings here. So we've got hi, how are you, and good morning. Okay. And what's going to happen is each is going to loop over greeting, setting the variable. So we're creating a variable here called greeting, and saying for each greeting and greetings, we're going to run it once. We're going to print loop, and then we're going to print the greeting. So I want you to have like a short think about what you're going to see here. So in your mind, what do you think we're going to see in the right hand side here? So give you like 30 seconds just to think about it. And yeah, let's see. Let's give you a bit more time to think about it. Just have a go. You know, what do you think will be in the right hand side once we run this code? This is a really important skill to be able to look at code and follow it through in your head and see what the output might be, because it's really important for debugging. Okay, so if you guessed that you would see loop then greeting, as in loop then hi, loop then how are you, then loop then good morning, you're right. So just to quickly go over that, each time we loop 3 times, once for every element in the array. We print out loop exclamation mark, then we print out the greeting, one at a time. So yeah, you see that going down here. Now I want you guys to have a go at this quickly. So if you could copy and paste this code into your own REPL editor, and then try and see if you can make it so it doesn't print out loop each time and only prints out the greeting. And once you've done that, see if you can add another greeting, you know, like for example, good afternoon. So in total, make it so that there's 4 greetings, let's say. I'll give you about 5 minutes to work on that. Hopefully we should be done within that time, but to make sure that everyone really understands what's going on here. So have a go at adding another greeting and getting rid of it, make it so it doesn't say loop each time. So it should say hi, how are you, good morning, and then your 4th greeting. Yeah. By the way, if you get stuck, you can share the link to your REPL in the chat, and that means that anyone can come and take a look at it. So mentors can come give you a hand. So if you're struggling, you can sort of send us a link. If you want us to check to make sure that you've done the right thing, so if you're done, you know, maybe post the link to your REPL so we can take a look to make sure it's all good. Yeah, so I'll give you 5-10 minutes to work on that. Just let me know if anyone's struggling with it. And so if you want a recap of what the challenges are, you need to go to the link that was sent earlier, and then look at extensions under number 3. So looping over lists, and then go down to extensions, and this is what we're doing right now. Yeah, it'd be really great if you put the link in the chat so we can take a look to see how people are doing. Yeah, just going to give you a few more minutes. And if you do finish, also say what greeting you added. So if because what was your 4th greeting? If you want to, you can post that in chat. Just to give other people inspiration. And if you're done, you can read ahead a bit, but don't go too far ahead. But I think definitely read ahead to see what's coming up. You know what? There might actually be an issue. Sometimes YouTube chat doesn't allow you to paste links, so that may be why it's not working. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think okay. So I think there's an issue with YouTube chat where it doesn't let people paste links sometimes. There are tricks to get around it. If you put spaces in your link, so for example, wherever you see like a dot, if you put a space either side on it, then it won't detect it as a link anymore. So yeah, so wherever you got a dot and a link. Cool. All right, I think I'm gonna move on because I think there's an issue with people trying to post links and it's not working. So I think some people are done. Could anyone let me know if you're not done and you want a bit more time? If you're close, just let me know, and we'll wait for a bit longer. But if you're done and you're fine, don't worry. If you're not done, let me know. And I'll hold on for another minute just so that the chat can catch up. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, that's a good point. So you got live chat and top chat. Ah, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's some stuff. There's some messages that got missed out. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, live chat seems a bit more useful. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I think that we're good. I think we're gonna carry on a bit. Yeah. So there's one last thing before we can start doing the interesting part of this. Okay, and that is about if we've got long-winded quotes such as this that goes up to multiple lines. It's a real pain to try and to store it in a regular string. So strings are everything inside quotes. So string is like a data type such as a number or but it's just for text. So it's basically anything inside quotes is called a string or text. So usually strings are quite difficult to store if they're very long because it's a bit of a pain putting them between quotes. But triple quotes allow you to have long bits of text on multiple lines. Okay, so here we can see that we've got a list. So what I'll do is I'll paste this into here. Let's get rid of this quickly. Actually, but I should probably go over this. Just to let you know. So what you should have done is you should have deleted this line to get rid of the loop, and then to add a new element, you could go comma, and then let's see what somebody put there. Okay, hope you had a nice day. And if we run this, we should see 4 of these now. Yep, so just to cover that. Okay. Right, so what I'll do is I'll paste this. So this what we've got here is you've got a list with 2 elements, and it's a bit difficult to see that, but if you can see that the quote starts here and it ends here. So everything inside here is part of a quote, and it's one element of the array. And then the next element, so we see we have this comma, and then the next element starts here, and it goes from here down to here. So this array has 2 elements in there, okay? And if I do print my list, what I'll see is I'll see both of these in here. Now, there's something that's a bit weird that's come up, and I should probably explain this now. I was going to explain this later, but I'll try and explain this now. What are these \n's? Why is everything on one line? What happened here? This is not exactly what I typed in. So \n is a special character that means new line. So for example, if let's get rid of this print list temporarily. So a hashtag in Python means comment out, and it means that it won't run anything after the hashtag. If I write print hello and I do \n there, what \n means? It means go on to the next line. Okay. So what we'll see is we'll see hello and then new line and then a space because there was a space after there and then there. And what it did when I did print my list, Python wanted to print everything on the same line, because that's the way that it tries to print arrays, and so it put in those special characters. Just a quick test: if I want to access the first element of this array, just the same as usual, I can just do square bracket 0, and we'll see that now because we're not printing an array, it will print out the new lines properly. Okay. Yeah, so this is the stuff that we sort of needed to cover, and now we can actually move on to something a bit more interesting. So you can make your own joker program. So the idea is that you want to write a program that you have a list of jokes at the top. So just like we have my list here, instead let's have a list called jokes. Okay, And the idea is you could say you had the jokes you want are sort of question and then punchline. So there's loads of good examples. Like pretty much all. If you get a joke in like a Christmas cracker or like a Halloween joke, pretty much all those kind of jokes are the kinds of ones we're talking about. So just punchline and then answer. And then what you could do is you can create an array full of them, and you can write them out in here. And then your challenge is to make the program print out all of these jokes. Okay. So each element of the array should be one joke, and your task is to loop over this array and print out jokes one by one. And make sure you have at least 2 jokes. Okay. And I'll give you 15 minutes to work on that. Maybe less, depending on how. We'll see how it goes. So I'll say 10 to 15 minutes just to work on that. So find some jokes and then create an array called jokes, and then print them all out. Yep, so at 20 past, we'll see if anyone's still having issues. If no one's having issues, then I'll move on. And I'll sort of assume that you've done this. If you're not ready at 20 past, absolutely no worries. We can just let us know in the chat, and we'll sort of wait a bit. If you're stuck on anything, let Mentor know in the chat. And again, if you're done, let Mentor know in the chat, so we can decide when to move on. If it's not clear what I'm asking you to do, also, let us know. Then we can move on to part 2. So I'm just waiting for another 7 minutes or so. See how everyone gets on with this. Take a look at where is it? Cool, I think we're up to date. By the way, if anyone's struggling to come up with jokes, then sort of there's loads of websites online that you can find sort of Christmas cracker style jokes, all that kind of stuff. And again, just the important thing is to have at least 2. All right, another 5 minutes. So, do you have any links to share? If everyone's working on it. Let us know. Yeah, so we're going to move on about 3 minutes. Coding was enough. I'll check out your link. Hold on. Coding with Zeneb. Your code goes. You have an array called. So if I sort of reckon some other people might be having these kind of issues. So you have an array called jokes, and then your code essentially says the joke in jokes, and then you say print jokes. Now the issue here is that what this code is going to do is it's going to each joke here, each element of this array is going to be set to joke. So this variable joke is going to become each element of that array each time it loops over. And the issue is that you're printing out jokes, which is the whole array each time. So what's going to happen is you're going to print out the whole array for every time there's an element. So for every element, you're going to print out the whole array each time. So what you want to do is you want to say for joke in jokes and then print joke singular, or whatever you want to call this. So you call it X, and you're going to say print X, because before you were saying print jokes. Is that kind of clear? So if I run this, everyone can see the kind of issue. So it's printed it out twice. What you want to do is you want to print out this variable, whatever you called it here. So I could say X, for example, and we'll see every single line. Okay, is anyone want a bit more time at all? It seems that some people have fixed their issues, I think, but just let me know if you want to pause at all, because the next step is to evaluate what we can improve on. Okay, I'm gonna see that everyone's ready. Because it looks like people who had issues seem to have fixed them by now. Okay, so I'm going to get some example code up. So okay. So the next thing to go is to this next link, which is part 2, and I'm going to get that link. I'll paste it in the StreamYard if anyone monitoring the chat can send it on. Send that on to the YouTube chat. That'd be great. So let's quickly find some jokes that people we can use. Just as a bit of an example. So the one that I had in an old project were sort of like Halloween themed jokes. So I can reuse some of those. Let me find some. Here we go. Right. I'm just going to copy it into the REPL. Okay. So everyone should have something that sort of looks like you have an array called jokes and you print them all out like this. Let's see if I can find. Some examples, so I can print that out. So here's some Halloween themed jokes. I know it's not Halloween, but you know, that's fine. If we run this, so here we've got the punchline, and so we got the joke and then the punchline, and the joke and then the punchline. So why didn't Mummy have any friends? Because he was all wrapped up in himself. And what road has the most ghosts haunting it? And a dead end. If we print this out, you should see all these jokes get printed. Okay. Now, there are a few issues with this, and I think we should spend a bit of time sort of thinking what kind of things could we improve. And I sort of made like a list of things that I thought we could improve on. This is like a really important part of programming. So look at your program and say what could be improved. What isn't quite working too well. Okay, so I came up with this list. All the jokes displayed at once. There's no time to let anything sink in. Comedic timing is important. It can be difficult to know where a joke starts or ends. So it might be nice to make a bit more space between them. I mean, actually here it's all right because we've got some extra space. But for example, some of you may have all your jokes on the same line like this. And if you do, then it's going to be a bit, it's all a bit messed up, a bit compact. We probably want to space it out a bit. Finally, actually, there's two more. Actually, there's no time to let people think of the answer. It's not fun to be told both the joke and the punchline at the same time. You want the question and the punchline separately. You want a bit of time to think about it. So we should probably add some bit of time between those two. And there's no variation in the jokes. Every time you run the program, the jokes are the same in the same order that you program them in. And there's no, so it's a bit boring because once you run it, it's always the same. So now I'm going to say, how can we fix these issues? Yep. So one thing we do is we can put an input after we print each joke. Okay. Now, it may not be immediately clear why this will help, but I'll show you what happens. So remember, input. What it does is it asks the user to type something in, and once they have typed something in and they hit enter, then it returns with the thing they entered. Right. In this case, what we want to do is we want to just use it so that it just waits before going on to the next one. So this is the easy one to fix. So we had the joke and the punchline, and it hasn't printed out the next one yet because it's waiting for us to hit enter. Once I hit enter, it goes on to the next one. It's immediately an improvement over just showing them all at once. Now the next bit is a bit more complicated. So one thing we can do is we can use our special new line character and add a bit of space around our jokes. You don't have to do this. It might be nice to sort of say this where one starts, one ends. So what this will do is we'll just add like an extra new line, just they're a bit more spaced out. And then the third issue, which is there's no time to people think of the answer, both the question and answer displayed at once. This is a bit more complicated to solve because we have no real way in our code so there's no like programmatic way of figuring out where the jokes, where the question is, where the punchline is. So we have to tell it that. And so in order to solve this issue, we've got to learn about something called dictionaries. Okay. So in Python, dictionaries are they're like dictionaries in real life. So with a dictionary, you've got a word and then you've got the definition. It's the same kind of idea. So let's say we have like a joke here. To define a dictionary, you use the curly brace syntax, like here, so the curly braces. This makes it into a dictionary. And each dictionary has a key and a value. So a key, imagine you've got like some word that you're looking at the definition of, like programming. So the key in that case in our dictionary would be programming. And then the definition of that word, just like when you look up a word in a dictionary book, is a whole bunch of text explaining what that thing is. And so that would be called the value. Okay, so our joke has two parts. It has the question and the punchline. So what we can do is we can have the question part is, why didn't Mummy have any friends? In our case. And this comes to a really interesting issue, which is we're getting some weird error here. And that's because I've used single quotation marks. You can use double quotation marks like this, and that will be fine. but I do single ones. It's just a matter of personal preference. But the issue is it's not liking it because it thinks so the apostrophe here, it thinks that that's where the quote ends, and it thinks this is Python code, which it obviously isn't. What we can do is we can put a backslash before that and say, no, it's not the end of a quote. It's just it's literally the apostrophe mark, you know. And so here we got the key, which is the question, and then the value, which is the actual text of that, and then we had the key, which is our the punchline. And in this case, it is just this part. So I can copy paste that into here. And now this perfectly stores our joke in a way that we can access the separate parts of it easily, you know, with our program, because Python understands that these are separate objects. We can access them individually, which allows us to put like a space between the question and the punchline. Now, so the next step before we can actually properly utilize this is we have to learn how to access a particular value, right? So the way we do that is we say, so if we can say, for example, let's say we want to print out the question. We can say print joke, which is our dictionary defined up here. And we use the square brackets again, but this time we use square brackets and we put text inside. But so here, this is our key. Remember, our key is question in this case to get this value, or punchline to get this value. So if I say joke question, what it will do is it will look up the definition of question. In this case, definition is why didn't Mummy have any friends? So if we print joke question, we should see the text, why didn't Mummy have any friends? So let's just get rid of this other code for the time being. So the only code that we're going to print something out is this line here. If I run it, why don't Mummy have any friends? And that's all it prints out, which is perfect. So this is what we want to do, right? So what we can do is we can update our jokes array to, instead of just being a string each time, we can have each element of the array as a joke. So I'll show you an example here. So what I can do is I can copy this, and then I can overwrite here. And so now I've got an array of dictionaries. So I need to do the same thing with the other one as well. So I'm going to have the question, and it's a bit messy because it's all on one line, but just try and bear with it. And then we have the answer, which is dead ends. And we say it is very messy code because it's all on one line. But we can try and make it a bit neater. But if it isn't clear, we've got these two elements of the array, and that inside the curly braces we have two keys, the answer and question. And yeah, so that means we should now be able to say print joke question and then do input and then print joke answer. So we don't have a huge amount of time left. Yeah, we've got about, I think, 10 minutes left, maybe less. So if you can update your jokes so they're a bit more like this format, so they have the question, the punchline, and then your challenge, we may not, you know, this maybe your sort of your extra homework challenge would be to change it so that this code works and it prints out the question, and then you have to hit enter, and then it prints out the punchline. And if you want to see, so if you want to continue this, so I'll give you the remaining time to sort of update that and try and get that to work. So yeah, again, you've got to print out the question, hit enter, then it prints out the punchline, and then hit enter, and it prints out the next joke. And that's like your task for the remaining time. And if you want to work on it more, like for example, to add randomness, it's all explained in here, how we can do that. And that could be your sort of like, you know, extension homework if you want to do that. Yeah, so let me know how that goes. It'll be really impressive if you can get this done in the time. Because I don't know if Peter wants to do an instruction for the next one, which might mean we only have like 5 minutes or so. And again, if anyone's got any issues, just let me know. Yeah. Again, if anyone has any issues with this, let us know. We are close to the end. And once in about 2 minutes, I'll just quickly show you the solution. I'll get it working, and then the extension is all in that document. So if you're interested in sort of getting this to be a bit more interesting, I have some randomness. You can read about it in the link, in the second link that was sent. So again, in 2 minutes, I will finish it off. Yeah, I'll definitely copy and paste the code at the end of the session to the chat. Actually, I can't paste from here, so what I'll do is I will send a link to this REPL, so anyone can take a look. Okay, yeah, so it's about time. So what I'll do is I'll just show you what the solution is. So the solution here is, again, so just to recap, every time we do 4 joking jokes, each element of the array is going to become this. And so to access the field question, we need to sort of, so we need to get that definition. We can use the square brackets. We can say print joke question. We say input, and we say print joke answer. And then again, we want to pause once the answer is finished, so that they can sort of decide whether to go on to the next one or not. Because once this ends, we'll go back to the start, to the next one immediately. So if I run this, you should see why don't I have any friends? Hit enter. Oh, whoops! I've got a typo. Oh yeah, sorry. It should be there should be punchline. That's why I've got an error. Run this, enter. We got the answer. And then the next question and the answer. I guess that makes it a bit nicer. Might be nice to sort of say Q, as in short for question, and then have A short for answer. So it makes it a bit nicer formatting. So let's just run this quickly. You see a Q and then an answer. Q and then an answer. Cool. So I will put this code on GitHub, and I'll link it. It'll be on the same repo. So if you look on the link that you've got, if you go in about here on the link, if you click Python Joker, at some point soon, I'll add a file here called joker.py, and that will contain all this code here. And again, if you guys want to add randomness, I might also quickly add that to the repo. So maybe it would be Python. It'll be joker_random.py maybe. And yeah. So Mentor will be around for a while longer if you guys want to keep on working on it, and show and tell. If anyone's got something cool working, that'd be really awesome to show it off. So yeah, I think I'm ready to be. For anyone who Peter wants to introduce the next session. Ready whenever you are.
Thank you very much, Louis. That's an amazing project. Lots of fun and jokes to entertain yourself and your friends and family. Thank you very much, Louis. And thanks to Danny and the other mentors in the chat who helped out. Hope you had a great time. I think we had about 18 or 20 people joining in that session. So look out for the link to the code which Louis is going to post. So thanks very much, Louis. A great time.
Sorry.
Cool. Okay, so next we're going to welcome Yashvi, a student at Kingston University, who's going to go through a cool HTML project. If Yashvi is there, then I can't see her right now, but Richard is in the production box and bringing her up. Richard, hi.
I think Yashvi is still logging in, so let's give her a couple of minutes to sort that out. That was great, great project there, Louis. I really enjoyed doing that along with it. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
We're going to try and do show and tell later, Peter, correct?
Yes, do you want to just explain how that might work, Richard?
Oh, yeah. So obviously, as everyone will have noticed, this is our first time doing this stream, so we're still working some of the rough edges off of it. The idea is that when Yashvi's finished her HTML session, we'll open up the stream for other people to join. So as long as you've got a computer with a camera and a microphone, we'll post a link for you to join this stream. Then we can add you up onto the screen like Peter and I are right now. And then you'll be able to share your screen and show us the great things you've made. The other way we can do it is if you're not able to join the stream or you don't want to, if you just rejoin the chat, particularly if you created one of those great animations in my Scratch session, we can just show those manually. I can just pull those out of the Scratch Studio if you've saved them there, and show them that way. But, we'll try both things and see which work best.
Great. And maybe if you think you might like to join in show and tell, then just pop a message on the chat so we've got some idea how many people are interested, and we can kind of allow the time accordingly.
Yeah, Yashvi is just saying she's having problems with her Wi-Fi, which I think is always a problem when you're streaming from home on a Saturday afternoon. There are lots of people eating your bandwidth. Ozzy's gone off to play games online now, so I'm surprised that mine's still surviving.
So we'll just take if you want to take a few minutes to rest your eyes, then we'll just wait for Yashvi to come on the air.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Hi Ashvi, yeah, we can hear you. You're live now.
So today we're going to do a birthday card. It's got this animation where you can just open it, and you've got 3 little balloons. You can write your own message. If you go to trinkets, and if you sign in, I'm already signed in, but let me sign out so that you guys can also sign in. If you go to trinkets, okay, this hopefully works. I'm so sorry. Now you can see my screen. Okay, I usually just sign in with Google. And today we're going to do a birthday card. So to start off from scratch, if we go new trinket, and we want to do a HTML one. So we get the index, and you can just put birthday card. Is everyone all right with creating their Trinket account and getting to the Trinket? If you guys have any problems, just put down on the YouTube chat. Just put this on the side. Okay. I would also like if you guys could go to something called Discord and create an account. If not, that's fine. I'll also be posting the code on the YouTube chat. And also, once everyone's created this, also create a CSS file. So if we just put file.css, then another file, which is for the JavaScript. Okay, so here if we start with these brackets, we write HTML, and then go on to writing head, link, rel, equals Okay, so if we go back to the file and the code, if we could actually change this to style.css. Wait, sorry, it's all in caps. It's not meant to be in caps. Style.css. And if we change this to just going to add a new one. Script.javascript. Okay. Here, delete that one. Perfect. Okay. So if we go back to the index and we close this, Okay, I have to wear my mask now. If we continue on to the body, and if we put div, wait, inside this div, we're going to put an ID. Now we can see that it appeared here on the screen. Happy birthday. I'm just going to copy and paste this and put it on the chat. Okay, it's a bit too big, so I'll have to break it up in pieces. It might be easier if everyone, let me just share a link here. Wait, invite people. You should be able to access everything on Discord. I don't think you need an account on Discord for this right now, but if you do, just let me know. We'll move on to the style now. So make sure you spell color the American way. I can see the difference. You can always change the color to anything else, but you can see that the background has changed, so we could put light blue. So by putting the width and the height 100%, we will be covering the full page. So regardless, imagine now if I am to increase this, the width and the height, it just covers everything in green. Okay, this is for this CSS. I'm going to copy and paste this and see if I can put it on the YouTube. This is essentially to create the way. Okay, this will essentially be to create a birthday card. If this is too simple, I would suggest you guys go to the Raspberry Pi and start doing a guide to my country. It's a fun project to work on. And then it has, this is the first one out of 3. I'm just going to copy bits of the code now and put them on the Discord channel so that it's easier for everyone to just accompany. I'm going to finish the style CSS file, and then you can see what will happen as we add stuff to it. Yeah, the open card. This still won't do anything because it's copying a background code. This is essentially so as you see, we have the background. It's to change the color for the background and to style the background and everything else. So what I'll do is that I'll just copy everything. So I've put a little text file so that if you access it, it's got the whole code for the CSS. Okay. Now if we start adding things onto the index, we'll be able to see a few changes happening. Okay, so basically I've just copy and pasted all of this. I'm just going to go through each and every one of these things. So if I am to remove all of this, what will happen is that the square will be here. This square is essentially square 1, the square which doesn't have any numbers. You can edit the square on the CSS file. So imagine if we want to change the size of it. Let's say we just want it 10 pixels by 10 pixels. It becomes a little dot. Now if we want it 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels, you can just play around with it. Now let's just keep it 150 by 150. You can also change the color, so you can put forest green, or you can put light blue. You can put pink. And then if you put square 2, so we made a strip for the present. In square 2, I've put the height for 30, but you can change that to 10. And the length, I made sure that it would be the same. The width, I made sure that it would be the same as the width on square 1. You can also change this. And if we put square 3, it'll essentially be the same thing, but reversed. So instead of having, so the height is the same as the height on square 1, and the width is the same as the width that we put for square 2, so that they both look the same. And then if we put square 4, now square 4 will not appear just yet. Here we're going to put a division. And inside, we're going to state that we want so that we can create the knot for the present. The circle, you can also change it. You go here to the circle area and say you just want 40 by 40. You can just play around with the code a bit. You can also change the colors once again. So here we have triangle left and triangle right. Okay, so I did a mistake here. So this div, we must ensure that this over here has an ending of after we put the circle inside. Now, if we add, so this is a little button to open. It still doesn't work because we would have to add the text on the script. So let me just send you all the text for the script. Then I'll explain the code in the text. This is everything for script.js. I will also try to put it on YouTube. Here, essentially what we have is a function to open, and then we should have one to close. So we have created the button to open, click to open, and then we'll have one to click to close. After this division, make sure that the body is after the code you write right now. So I've pasted all of this code over here, which will essentially be, once you open the card, everything's here. I'm just going to remove these balloons for now. And once you open it, you can change your happy birthday title message here, and then you can change the text after that. I will copy this. I will copy everything that's here and just paste it on Discord. So if anyone's having any issues, you can just access that. So now we've created the button to open and a button to close. You can also change that to, you can always say go back. So if you go here, your button now says go back. And you can also change this to open card. Now we're going to look at the balloons. The balloons are a bit funny. So you can add one balloon, as you can add two, or let's try as many as we can. See what happens. Okay, various different balloons. You can put the number of balloons that, so Jamie turned 12, we can put 12 balloons if you want. I'm just going to put 3 for now. I'll copy this one code and put it on Discord. Actually, if I copy and paste everything, so that in case you're having any issues, you can just copy and paste everything. There we go. Okay. Okay, it's this one. Just going to edit it a bit. This one over here. So I would just copy from the HTML part. So here in the balloons, what we're going to do, we have this whole area in the CSS file. That's for the balloons, starting here. And so we're going to open the card, and you can see that there's some sort of animation. If you were to remove this part over here, the keyframes, that animation will go away. Okay. You can change the color of if you want to change the color or the animation duration. So this is for 3 seconds, but if we put it, let's say for 10 seconds, and let's change this to green. Wait. We open card and we have green balloons. We should also change this little triangle part to green. And we've got very slow moving balloons. So if we change this to 1 second, and we open the card, the balloons are going very fast. Let's leave it at 4 seconds for now. If you guys just look through the code and explore a bit, that would be fun. Just if you go to the style page usually has everything to do with what you see. So you can change any type of color, you can play around with the numbers. So the pixels are just a measure of how big you want anything. So let's say we wanted to change the balloons to be 200. They look a bit weird now. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this once again so that you can access it whenever you want. And I'll also, I think I can share the link to all of the code on my trinket. Okay. I think this would work. I think now you can see all of the code I have on my trinket. And to do more projects, just go to CoderDojo, and you have CoderDojo HTML and CSS. I would say start with the guide to my country. It's got guide to my country 1, 2, and 3. After this, you have other activities you can do. So you just go here to HTML and CSS, and you see the various different activities that you're able to do. They're all guided activities. So let's say guess the color. You can reset the game, and this would be the end result. If you get started, it'll have a step-by-step instructions as to how to do everything, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to put all of the courses on the comments. Hopefully everyone's all right with this. Now we can just save, and you can share it. If we do this, okay, I'm also going to try and do this in case you can't see the code on the first link that I sent. And we should be going to show and tell now in a bit.
Hi, well, that was a lovely project, Yashvi. Thank you. Thank you. You were talking about pasting the code, link to the code, but I couldn't see it in the YouTube chat. So maybe you just need to, I don't know where you put it, but it's okay. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to go into show and tell now. I can't see anyone who's put up their names. So are there some people out there who would like to do show and tell this afternoon? We'd love to see what you've been doing either today or during summer holidays. Let us know if there's anyone there who has a project to share.
Yeah, please wave a hand or say yes, please, or post a smiley into the chat.
Yeah. So, Richard, I think this was a terrific afternoon. We've got a message from Zineb.
So, Zineb, you're asking to show your YouTube channel. What's on your YouTube channel? What I think we're really looking for is projects that have been done. I don't know how we can show a YouTube channel on this stream. We could post a link to it. Or do you want to share your screen and show some of the movies that you've created on your channel? Would that work?
I think that would work, Richard.
Okay, great. Let's try that then. Okay, so if you want to join the stream, in fact, anyone wants to join the stream, if you go to this URL, rpf.io/show, then if you've got your webcam and your microphone enabled.
I didn't quite catch that, Richard, so I don't know whether you may need to, is it something we should?
There's a banner on the screen now, rpf.io/show.
Okay.
I'll put it in let me put it in the chat as well.
It's all right, I can see that, and it's short enough to type. Thank you.
So if you follow that link, then I should be able to see you in our green room, waiting to join the stream, and I can add you on. Okay. Zineb says yes, so perhaps they're on their way. Right. I can see you now. I'm just going to add you into the screen now. So the three of us on. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. Nice to see you again. How have you been?
I'm good. It's a long time since CoderDojo.
It is a long time since we've been together in the university, isn't it? Yeah. If you want to show your channel, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah.
Hey, hi there, Zineb. Lovely to see you all.
Hi.
I can see Helena's there as well. Getting ready to go. But if you share your screen, Zineb, then I'll add that in.
Okay.
I've looked at your YouTube channel. It's got some great walkthrough tutorials on it.
Thank you. I'm on a MacBook. Do you know how to like allow it to share a screen?
Not really. No. If you click the share screen button, I think you have to go into all your system preferences on a Mac.
Yeah.
That way, it normally gives you a pop-up that tells you what you need to do. While you're sorting that out, shall we add Helena in and see how she's getting on? A pop-up that tells you what you need to do. Hey, Helena.
Hello.
Hi, Helena. Hi.
Have you got something to share with us?
Well, I have two things that I made. One of them is the button, which I made after I made one of my first animation.
There's a lot of noise behind you, Helena. You've got the TV on or something.
One second, let me go on mute. It's not me.
Okay. It's quite difficult to hear you, unfortunately, over the noise.
It wasn't me. It's not me.
It's an echo.
Okay.
You need to mute one of your. Need to mute the sound on the YouTube channel.
I think it was me. I turned it off.
Better. Great. So, do you want to share your screen and show us what you've made, Helena?
Okay. Well, should I show the animation or should I show the button?
Whichever you like.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
No. You can see there should be a share screen.
Oh, okay.
Bottom. There you go. That's appeared now. Right there we go.
Now?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, cool.
So, I hope you can hear the sound. There's a little bit of sound there. So I drew the backdrops, but not the unicorn. Very little code though, so
nice though. That's great.
I tried to go for the least code I could go for, so then I could limit how much time I used.
That's very, very cool. I think running from scene to scene works really well in that.
So I actually have turned these into bitmaps and then back into vectors, so then people can't like copy my work and then just like change it a bit. And I've actually got the sprite with the vectors on them. So we've got the vectors here, but for the actual show, I put the bitmaps instead. So then people couldn't copy me and like do something mean with it. Something, you know. So yeah.
Did you have something else as well to show, Elena?
Yeah, well I do have my useless button, which...
Yeah, let's have a look at that. I see. I like useless buttons. Okay. Oh, nice. A griffin. Nice. Great.
Okay, well, should I stop sharing screen?
Yeah, that was lovely, Helena. Thanks for sharing those. That was great.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Zineb seems to have disappeared. Oh, you're back now. Have you managed to... Hello again. Have you managed to sort out your screen sharing issues?
Yeah, it works now.
Cool. Okay. Let's go ahead then. Let's see.
Okay. So I started a coding channel during lockdown, and I thought using the code club thing, maybe people might not understand it sometimes. So I'm only starting off with this. I feel like maybe later on I can make my own project, which I'm starting to think about. And that was the latest video I've posted. And yeah, and they just follow module 1, then module 2, just normally. And yeah, and I think it might help some people if you really need it. And then I could create my own projects and then upload those as well as doing these. And yeah.
I think that's terrific. I think that you can never have too many different people explaining things, because I often find sometimes 5 different people can explain something to me, and then it takes the 6th person to just say it in the right way that it hits home and I get it. So that's really good.
It's great, and I really like the way you've added the little animations and messages to your screens, so it makes it really come alive.
Yeah, thank you.
And, it's really nicely designed and you know, easy to follow. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing that.
Well done.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Danny, I can see Danny's in the stream. Let's see. Danny, you're there. Have you got something to share with us?
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I also I had a bit of fun with our button animation. Trying my hand at Scratch. I'm not exactly a Scratch pro.
I think there's someone in your house who can give you tips, though, right?
Absolutely, exactly. If I get stuck, there is someone who can get me unstuck. Let me just get the... Now I've got to work out how to share that. Where's the share screen button? Oh, there we go. So the confusing thing there was having StreamYard on YouTube. If I share... There we go. Ah.
There we go. I can see that now. Yeah, great. Here we go.
Oh, there we go. It's a bit loud because I had sound on it.
Awesome.
Nice.
Had a bit of fun. Had to get my head around the using the Scratch vector editor, which I think Helena's a bit of an expert with. So
I love the sound effects, Danny. That's very cool. It's a very jaunty space dog. Was it space cat? Space dog. Nice.
I hit the stop button because that carries on. Yes. Oh, I've got young Jonathan wanting to show and tell something too. Do you want to? Okay. I might go and assist Jonathan because he doesn't know how.
Okay.
Okay.
See you later then, Danny.
See you.
Thank you, Danny. Cool. Thanks.
Have we got any other takers for show and tell?
Can't see anyone in the chat channel. So should we wrap it up, Richard, if there's no one else?
We should. It's been a good first session. There's a few rough edges, a few things we need to try and iron out the glitches of, but otherwise I think it went well. Well, thank you for everyone who joined in and who presented. Richard, thank you very much to you and Ozzy, and to Louis, and of course to Yashvi, and all the mentors who were in the live chat to help out. We hope you had a great time. We've really enjoyed doing it. We're going to arrange some more sessions like this. If you've got any special requests, then by all means write into our email to let us know what you'd like us to do. We're going to have a Scratch challenge project that you can work on at home, and then we'll have some drop-in live stream sessions where you can get some helps and tips from the mentors.
and then a show and tell at the end when everyone who's done the project can share it. And we've got some other projects that we'll be doing over the coming weeks to introduce different tools and languages. But please do let us know what you'd like, and we'll try to fit it in. We'll also be having some special sessions for beginners who are starting Scratch and want to go quite slowly, so we can show you around the Scratch interface, and it will all be a very cool and gradual experience for those who are taking the first steps with this amazing tool. So Richard, thank you very much for setting it all up. And do you want to add anything before we sign off?
I was just going to say the other thing, as we every year we run Mission Zero sessions where you can write a simple Python program and then have that sent to the International Space Station. Mission Zero is now open again, so I'm definitely going to run a session where you can have your code sent to space.
Wow.
Mission Zero is different this year.
Yeah.
It's not the same as it has been in previous years. So even if you've taken part previously, there are some different things this year.
Yeah. And is it right that you get a picture from the space station of Earth at the time when your code runs? Is that still running?
Yeah. Every project that runs in space gets a certificate which shows the map of the Earth and exactly where the ISS was over the Earth when you're experimenting. Yeah, it's really cool.
That would be so cool. Okay, well, from Richard and me and everyone involved, take care and stay well, and we hope to see you again soon.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.